Maybe you could share with them our most recent story about
Yeah,
your
well, my brother, so I came here in 2005. My brother left back in Ukraine, and he was part of Jewish community in Dnieper, then in Kiev. In Kiev, he was part of the Jewish community who actually were escaping Donetsk region, who were refugees. They moved to Kiev, rebuilt community, trying the best, and now again they have to run. So when the war started, he was in Kiev, in the center of Podol, and I remember that night, I couldn't believe it happened. I was trying to reach my brother and I couldn't until I reached him. Like, yeah, he confirmed that the Russia attacked. He said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna go to a safer place." It's like Anativka. It's like a few kilometers from Kiev. It's like a smaller town.
He was in Ukraine.
He was in Kiev, in Podol. And yeah, it's like a few 2 kilometers from Bucha. So, but I didn't know back then. My brother said it's a smaller village. Don't worry, it's gonna be quiet. And he deliberately didn't want to call me because every 5 seconds there was like a shooting or something. So he was scared. Yeah, and he was texting me, "We're fine, it's quiet." Meanwhile, they couldn't sleep. They were like nothing. It was just like literally, they were Bucha, they were torturing them. But I learned that later. Obviously, they didn't tell me. He didn't call me. He's like, "Oh, there's a bad reception, but everything is fine. Everything is quiet." Whatever. Meanwhile, it was like literally like next block is Bucha was being tortured for a month. And then he was able to, so one rabbi, they asked, can we, some people were able gather together because they had unfortunately bad story in Donetsk. So they gathered together and said, women, children, buses, let's go try to get out of the country. Obviously men were not allowed to. So my brother and a few people asked Rabbi, can we lend you a car to go a little bit on east, like Dnieper, because it's more quiet. So they were lucky enough to a few people, all the people who couldn't go or would refuse, it's very hard. So they drove back to Dnieper, which is a little bit better, but still not so. And then I called him and asked, what's your plan? He's like, I don't know, what should I do?
Yeah, why wasn't he coming out?
I mean, there was a law passed from 18 to 65, I have to leave. And he's like, what should I do? And then we remember as a child, he was 16, he was able to have like exam from the army. And some people were able to cross the border with a paper, some people were not. He had it like years when he was 16, so I guess they checked. Obviously my mother like back then didn't want him to serve in whatever the story. So also to get into a train, it was very, very hard. Like Ukraine would send the train, but you could imagine how many people are trying to, like, let's say 8 cars and million people were trying to get in. Yeah, and luckily someone from Dnieper, my friend's father, he literally took my brother. He just quit, like already train was leaving. He just so basically to describe, like train was meant for 6 people at places. So those squeezed for 20, 21 for like, between this, almost, in the back, whatever.
They know what that is.
Exactly. Like you probably. The story sounds like their story.
Exactly. It looks like they were like at some station they would stop because there was a bombing, so they traveled for 3 days like that. Well, I don't know how. I didn't even ask how they used the bathroom or eating, nothing. Some people were trying to help with food. My brother eats only kosher, so he was like starving. Then it was already Shabbat. They approached, and he was in charge of Jewish people of Dnieper to take. There's a lot of older, kids, so help them. Some people, they so disoriented, they lost. You have to find whatever. He was helping them, even though he didn't know Lvov. And Lvov, it's not meant to accommodate this amount of people, Also, so somehow they found the right bus, and they. I think it was 17, I forgot, like a long time trying to go through, and the 2 Jewish men clearly they didn't have a right paper, but you could see like one is like literally like they're not able to serve in army, they refused, they turned them go back. A few older, so it was like very, very strict. So my brother, I prayed, I asked everyone to pray. He was able to cross the border in Poland. At that time was nothing for Jewish people. The Polish people would serve some food, but my brother couldn't. He called a friend through Ukraine who went through whatever, someone Polish people hosting me for like take a shower, 4 days of showering. He said he put a baseball hat. He was afraid to identify as a Jew, and he's like, "Thank you very much. I'm not hungry," even though he was dying of hunger. But like he said, very nice, but he didn't feel it would be a right, thing to even identify as a Jew until I was able to buy him. But it was like a miracle with.
So where is he
I don't want to
Now
stop
he's
you, but I
by me.
a little bit continue your story. Because they took us 6 days in lockdown, wagons. 6 days. No food, nothing. And Bobby, Big Bobby, she had their little water because those cattle wagons had a little opening for the so she kept on the little glare, the cup by the window. So luckily it was raining a little bit, but people were starved and thirsty. So she raised her and my mother, Big Bobby, and she said, I have water. There was a little bit of it, but we had there 90 people in one bed.
This is my aunt, this is Bobby's sister. They all know Bobby. Also from the same town in Bomazuvarish with Lillian Feintach.
Yes.
And
So
I was in the same wagon what she describes. But my mother in the first ghetto.
I know her from home.
Yeah. Yeah. She knows me from home.
Yeah,
My mother.
get there.
Yeah, hi. Say hello to her.
For 6 days, nothing, no water, no food. But Big Bobby had a
I was in the same wagon, and we had no
6
food.
days, the same
There was no place just even to sit in the wagon, and we were, the condition in the wagon was just
and the wagon, when they stopped middle of the way,
because but they were bombed, the trucks were bombed. That's when she was in the same wagon. And they're laughing.
Ladies, thank you so much, but they tell us that we have to leave.
The car service. We have two more young ladies.
Yes, I don't want to stop.
They have the car service.
It's okay.
She came to pick you up. Sebastian, my mother have a little fruit. You're done with this, or you want to finish?
I think the way you guys are so cute. Try to do that.
My father was
She's a little younger.
Wait, let me get it. Yeah, that's how my mom.
We went through everything.
The same thing, we were together when we were in concentration.
Yeah.
Because you can't afford, it's not even the highlight of the concentration camp. You cannot stay in a group like this because all these.
You want to go for a picture? Taking a picture. You want to get your bag at
I remember this. Yes.
This is better.
Everyone can gather for a picture. We're taking a group photo. Ladies.
Acabou. Alright, everybody's in a group photo over here. Who's joining for the group photo? Everybody for a photo. Everyone in the photo. Over here, facing this way, please. This is better. This is better. This way, facing this way. Facing me. Dr. Faye, everyone from the stand right there. Stand right there. And it's fine.
Alex, if you want to join our journal,
Yeah,
first of all, the honor, first of all, the honor of the survivors. First of all, the honor survivors themselves.
everybody.
Alex,
You have to direct people because you.
Alex, you need to.
You guys take
They should be this way. I know what I'm talking about.
Where?
I know my house. The picture should go in this direction. You're never gonna be able to fit them in down there.
No, it's gonna be a wide shot. I'll do
Go.
I could do a panoramic shot. I could do a 360 shot.
360, look at that.
You want me to do a 360 shot?
We can
Do
do,
whatever
we
you
can
can
do
do
all
to
of
get a
it.
picture that we can all put on
Look
our
at the
books.
technology. Please, you come here. No, we want come. Ladies, you come. Ladies, you
You only take the pretty ones.
You're all, everybody, all the Jewish women are pretty.
No, we need you. Definitely.
Yeah.
We can do
I'm gonna do a panoramic.
We're gonna come from the other side. We want you to come. Let's come together. Why?
I know.
No, it's gonna be panoramic. It's gonna be panoramic. And you
And into the ghetto and all over.
Take me out my picture.
I was just there.
It's a miracle.
Raphael's taking it.
Yes.
What do you mean you're taking
No,
it?
but
First, let me take one, then you can take one.
First of all, Joy will take with you.
She didn't want to come.
She'll want me to picture? And her mother? Raphael
She was
Reisman.
so
I'm
eating.
gonna stand right here. Guys, don't move,
A
just
lot of
smile.
people asked her.
She's not coming? My Chabrusa?
Oh, wow.
Guys, don't move, just smile.
Big smile.
Because that's my
And why isn't she coming in the picture?
She didn't want to.
No?
Oh, wow.
Good.
Gotta go.
One more time in case somebody blinks.
Wait a minute, Rebbitzin Reisman?
Yes.
Oh, they're coming. You see when a Chabrusa asks them to come. It's like being a married couple.
Yeah.
We're gonna be a circle.
And because we started ghetto
Together every morning,
all the
7:30,
concentration
every single
camps.
morning.